Hello, my name's Jesse. I'm a software engineer, and today we are going to be building a Django REST API, and then we are going to Dockerize it. So the API will be running on localhost 8000, and then we will add a to-do list route, and it will be reachable at http:/localhost 8000/to-do. So then we are going to put it in a Docker container and then expose port 8080 on the host machine. And then the container port will be 8000 where our application is running. Before we start, I would like to encourage everyone to like and subscribe, and if there is anything I am unclear about, make sure to leave a comment and I will respond. So the first step we need to do is create a virtual environment to install the Python packages to run our app. This is done with Python 3-m venv, and now we need to source it with source venv bin activate. Now we install Django and the Django REST framework with pip3. This way our packages will stay consistent and not installed on our actual operating system, just inside the virtual environment. Now we need to create our application with Django admin, start project, my project. To configure the Django database, run python 3 manage.py migrate. Next, we will create the application with python 3 manage.py start app my app, and it creates a new application. Now we will need to add this application, my app, and the Django REST framework to installed applications in settings.py. Now we need to create our model for our to-do application. Django applications access and manage data through Python objects, and they are referred to as models. Models define the structure of the stored data. So we are creating just one model to do, and it's going to have the task and whether it's completed or not. To add this model to our database, we need to run migrations. So we run python 3 manage.py make migrations my app and migrate my app. Now inside of this app, we will create our view. We are going to be using a class-based view to show how you can get and post data. We will need these modules in our view file, and this view we are creating inherits the API view class from the Django REST framework. This class will have two functions, post and get, and in your parameter you will give it a request object, and this is where we retrieve data posted from the client. So we convert that data to a dict, we create a model object, and we save the object, returning a 200 response. In the GET request handler, we will create a list of tuples of all the to-do objects stored in our database and return it. Now we need to register this view in Django's router. We create a urls.py file, add the path module, and import the view we just created, and add URL patterns variable pointing to our view, and the route is to do. So far we only have the route registered in the urls.py of the my app folder. We need to also add it to the route of the urls.py in the my project folder for this route to be registered. We import the include function and include the path to the other urls.py file in the URL patterns. Now we will test it out. Run python 3 manage.py run server. We will test out our API. We're going to do curl-x post and then -d the task is learn Django, and the -d for completed is true, and then localhost /to-do. You get a 200 response. That's great. So now we'll do a GET request at localhost 8000 /to-do, and we get the response, learn Django, true. That's great. And we'll do another one just for testing. Now that our application is running, we will Dockerize it. We will run pip3 freeze and then redirect the output into a requirements.txt file. And we create a Docker ignore file and add the venv we just created to ensure our container stays lightweight as possible. Now we add our Docker file, and the syntax of this, the first line is just declaring that it is Docker syntax, and then we use this base image that is Python 3.10.6 Slimbuster. The directory we will be working out of is just /app, so we do workdir /app. We copy the requirements.txt file, we run pip install on it, and then we copy all of the other files in this directory into the Docker container. And last, we start the Django application. Now to run this Docker container, you run docker build -t Django project period, and then we'll see, now we'll look at it with Docker images. So now to run the container, you do docker run -d for detached, and then we publish the port 8080 to 8000, and then you specify the name, Django project. The first 8080 is the port you're exposing on the host, and then the second one is on the container. So it's 8080 to 8000. Now we will check to see that it works. We'll curl it with a GET request, and it looks like we see what we posted before. Cool. To be able to jump inside the Docker container, if you want to debug anything, you can run docker exec-it, or the container name, and then /bin/bash. Now you can see you're in this lightweight Linux container. You can poke around, see the working directory, and then type in exit to exit the container. And you can see this container is running. It's been up 2 minutes, and then you copy the container ID and type in docker stop the container ID to stop your container from running on your host machine. This will be it for the video. Check the link in the description for the code repository.